right, welcome back. As you can see here, this is part 2 of my build series on the TOS Enterprise. And what we're looking at here, these are the domes for the nacelle caps. These are obviously not completed. And I'm just doing a little experimentation here. As with all things, these don't really show up exactly like they are in real life, but I'm trying to experiment with color. And what I've discovered is, well, first of all, let me kind of walk you through what I did here. So with these domes, you got several different components. You've got the plate that holds, well, first of all, you got a circuit board, the PCB, which has the numerous LED lights on it. And then on top of that, you have a plastic disc with a number of holes that you put, you attach a number of small, clear, what look like bulbs, and they are different colored bulbs. And then over that, you put a small dome that spins if you have the motor attached. And then over that entire assembly, you have an outer dome which covers everything up. And so you have two domes. You have an inner dome and an outer dome. The outer dome stays stationary. And so looking at this, what you're looking at is, you can see the fan blades turn. You can also, obviously you can hear them. And you can see some lights blinking. You can see some lights staying stationary. The effect is actually fairly good. Again, in video, the lights look a little bit brighter. That's just the video effect. It does that. It's just a hotter video. The lights look hotter. One thing that I've discovered here is how light, or I should say rediscovered, is how light translates or transfers through color. This kind of goes back to color theory that we all were supposed to learn in grade school or elementary school, or middle school. Your color options for your little bulbs are red, orange, clear, white, green, and blue, which basically those are the same colors as the C9 Christmas lights, the old C9 and C7 Christmas lights, which were quite common back in the 1960s when the original filming miniature was made. And because that's what they used for these dome lights. Well, so I applied those lights in here, and I placed those bulbs in, and then with the outer dome, or the inner dome, I scuffed up the interior of the inner dome with a piece of, let's see if I can find it here. Yeah, with some of this this 800 grit wet dry sandpaper, and I just scuffed it. So it's almost like working with like really fine steel wool. I know that's what a lot of people use. So it's not totally clear. And then I did the same thing to the inside of the outer dome, and then I sprayed both of the exteriors with dull coat. Let's see if I can find it here. Oh, where did I leave that dull coat? Oh, of course, I left it on the other side of the room. The Krylon dull coat, I'll show you. It was just Krylon dull coat. And and then for the final touch, I took some Tamiya orange clear, and I mixed up a very small amount of red with it. Just a small little dab, because I wanted to try to get just like a really kind of a deep amber color. Not orange, but more of an amber color. Like a deep color. And I mixed that up and I airbrushed it to these domes. Well, to the inside of the exterior dome. Well, what that did, when I put the whole assembly together, I noticed suddenly the blue lights that would flash disappeared completely, and the green light, I could barely see at all. The yellow, or not the yellow, though, any red or orange or white, no problem. They shine through totally fine. Well, I realized in just like a little 10-second Google search that orange is a natural filter to blue light. And so what I'm trying to figure out is how in the world did they accomplish this effect with the original filming model? Because if you look at the original filming miniature, the dome is orange, it's translucent orange, and there are blue and green lights coming through it. So I need to figure out how they did that effect. What you're looking at right now, these are domes that, what I have done here is I have replaced all the blue and the green with some white and red and orange. And so this one, and also the larger bulbs, this one is all orange larger bulbs, and this one is a mixture of white and orange larger bulbs. So I'm really just kind of experimenting, trying to figure out what exactly combination do I like here. There's a couple of ideas here. I have some decisions to make. I like seeing blue and green come through. I like being able to see the blue and green light. I think what I need to do is strip the orange paint completely off the dome. I think I've used too much orange paint. I think what I need to go back and do is I need to go back and lightly paint. I think I put too much orange paint. I think I airbrushed it too thickly. And so I'm going to strip the domes and then try to reapply. I know some people don't even apply any orange paint on it at all. They just leave it clear, or they put like dull coat, or they use just like fine steel wool. I'm not going to do that because when the lighting kit is turned off, I still want the nacelle caps to look orange. I still want them to have that look. And so, because that's what the studio model looks like. And I know some people argued that the studio model didn't have it. Well, it did. The domes are orange. I mean, you can see it as plain as day. It's in the Smithsonian. They were orange. They are, pure and simple. So, all right. So I'm going to do a little bit of experimenting. I'm going to do a little bit of research. And when I come back, we'll see what changes I've made. All right. See you shortly. I'm back real quick here just to show you what I mean. I took those outer domes off, and so you could see there is indeed blue and green lights underneath here. And you can see them with the fan blades spinning. And on this one, there's only one green light in that upper left-hand corner. I took the blue light out earlier. And also on this on this dome, the non-flashing lights, there's 3 orange ones and a solid, let me rephrase that. There's 3 solid orange and a solid blue and a solid green. Whereas on this one, it's 5 solid oranges. And I kind of like the variation of the different colors, but again, I think it's just gonna be a lot of experimenting here. So, but the first step is really gonna be, look how dark these are. Look how dark these domes are. I think there's just too much paint on them. And this is the first dome. So this is one of the pilot domes that came with the kit. The pilot dome, the pilot dome has the flat surface, so you can attach the spire. I used it as a little experiment to experiment with the kit, or to experiment with airbrushing. And in fact, if I place that on there, let's see here. Yeah, see, even though it's a lighter airbrushing, the blue doesn't come through on this one either. And the green barely does. You can barely see if I can. Yeah, see can't really see much. There's just nothing there. Yeah. So I don't know what the answer is here. I don't know if maybe the light isn't bright enough. See if I can I'll pull the fan disc off. See, and I think that's another thing, another issue with these round 2 lights. If you look at the bulbs themselves, the orange and the red are just, I think they're just so much brighter than the green and the blue. So that might be the issue. I don't know. So, got some experimenting to do. I'll be right back. Okay, friends, we're back here, and wow, lots of experimenting. Problems somewhat solved. As you can see, I've got the domes attached. They're just taped on right now to the nacelles. And what I ended up doing was stripping the domes of their orange color. I also stripped them of their dull coat. So I kind of just stripped them down to their bare plastic again. I kind of wanted to experiment. After talking with Gary Kerr on, not Gary Kerr. After talking with Gene Davis on Facebook, shout out to you, Gene. After speaking with him and looking at one of his builds, I realized that maybe the lights with the Polar Lights kit just are not bright enough. Not specifically the LEDs, but the little Christmas bulbs. And his suggestion, which had been in one of the Facebook forums, was to change out the power supply. And I did that. I changed it out to a 12 volt 2 amp power supply. And you can get those on Amazon for pretty cheap. I mean, I bought two of them for $12. And it did make the lights a little bit brighter, but not really so much that I noticed it with my paint setup. So I stripped the domes of the orange color, and then Gene also told me that he did put a like a smoke wash on the exterior of the dome, and I like that effect. But I also wanted the domes to still have an orange color to them when they're when they're not powered on like they are right now. And as you can see right now, they do have a little bit of an orange tint, because I did end up going back and I sprayed them down very lightly, again using this little concoction that I made up, this little mixture of Tamiya orange with a little bit of red. And I really thinned it down though for my airbrush. I kind of wonder if I didn't thin it enough originally. And so I thinned it down, and I did a very light coating on the inside of the dome, much lighter than what's on this. And as you can see, you can just barely see a hint of orange on this. And that's on both sides. So now they do look a little bit different. And that is because, so on the exterior of the dome, they're both sprayed with the smoke color. This is the Tamiya, it's just regular Tamiya smoke. What is that, X19? Again, very thin coating of it. I have a feeling the reason why these both look a little different though is that on one of these domes, I think when I wet sanded it, I wet sanded more than the other. And that kind of takes me to the issue I have with wet sanding using steel wool. for me, it's not something that I'm good enough at where I can really make two different, pieces look the same, as you can tell. I mean, here the spokes are much more pronounced than they are here. And maybe I could add a little bit more orange. I'm not sure. Well, actually, what I think I'm going to do is actually replace these domes just all together. I'm in talking with Gene. One of the things that I saw in his video is that he replaced the inner dome with the and I kind of lovingly call it now the Wile E. Coyote umbrella, from that you can get from Shapeways, which is just the printout of the fan blades themselves, but without the plastic pieces in between the different ribs. And what that'll allow is for this Polar Lights kit that uses those plastic bulbs, it'll allow that light, it'll give it fewer layers to go through, to have to penetrate. And so ultimately the whole problem of those blues and greens, they should be able to come through much better. And so that's my hope. My hope is to change that out and do that. So what I want to do, I'm going to show you just real quick what this looks like just now. And actually it's not too, I actually think it looks pretty decent. So let me power this on. Now, of course, you can hear the motors. One thing I did is you can see actually inside this nacelle, you can see inside both of them, I did fill the nacelles with the muslin. There's also muslin inside this housing. And then again, the motor itself is wrapped with muslin as well. And I think that definitely pulled back, it definitely deadened the noise that these make. Obviously they still make noise, but I don't feel like I'm having to shout over them, which is great. So looking at the color, and of course, this looks a lot different on video than it's going to look in person. But you can, if I'm looking at it in person, let me see. So there's, just so you can see here, let me try to hold my camera steady. There's a green bulb at the 3 o'clock position, and you can see that's coming through loud and clear. There's also a blue bulb that is at the 10 o'clock and the 5 o'clock position. On the video, I think they're actually coming through louder, they're coming through brighter than they're actually coming through in person. And so it may look great in person or on camera, but in person, it just, the orange, it's much, well, I don't want to say it's brighter, but the green and the blues just really are not popping the way I want them to. So I've also done some looking into like the Tenna Controls board, or Tenna Controls board. And like I said, in the future, I'm definitely going to be rebuilding this kit, or building another version of this kit. And I'm sure I will look into that down the road. So again, I just wanted to use this Polar Lights lighting kit because I had it and it was on the shelf and I wanted to try to make it work. So I will say in the process of this, I did end up breaking one of the wires off the motor, so I did have to re-solder that. But that's what happens, when you're playing with these things long enough. So anyway, overall I'm satisfied with this look. I think it's gonna work just fine. I'm satisfied with the volume of the motors. I wish they were quieter, but there's not much more I can do. So at this point, I am ready to move on to the overall whole painting. And so I'm going to mix up paint. I think I'm going to go with the Japanese Navy gray, and where you mix that with 10% just white. And I think that's going to be my hull color. I kind of like the grayish green, or the gray with a little tint of green to it. That's really kind of shows up in the studio model in the Smithsonian. And heck, why not? I mean, like I said, if I don't like it, well, this won't be the last time I build this kit. And you know, at some point you just gotta kind of pick a color and go. Just like with these domes, you just kind of pick a way to finish them off and just get it done. You know, fake it till it's built, right? So, in any case, that is it for this update. So, the next update, I'm hoping to have some color on the hull. That should be the next update. And I'm going to start with the nacelles, get those done. And then, so I'll have the nacelles and the secondary hull and then the saucer. And then we'll be ready for registry markings, which I will paint on as well, and decals, and we'll call it done. So, all right, please remember to like and subscribe. You know, hit that subscribe button. Tell your friends and family. Feel free to share. Thanks for watching, and have a great day. Take care, everyone.
Peace, love, dope. Now get the hell out of here.